Can you give us a brief introduction of Nuevolution?
Yeah, Nuevolution is a Danish-Swedish biotech company listed on First North Premier in the Premier segment as of December of last year. We have developed a unique technology for drug discovery that we have applied in a number of partnerships over the years. We have executed 15 deals with Big Pharma, generated some 400 million Swedish kronor from those partnerships. And we are now applying the platform for our own pipeline with a focus on finding new medicines for cancer and severe inflammatory diseases. Over the next 3 years, we expect to produce 5 to 6 business opportunities, so mature programs where we can create partner interest, and we expect to place 3 to 4 of these programs with partners and keep 1 to 2 programs for our own internal development.
Can you describe how your drug discovery platform Chemetics works, and what are the differences compared to other comparable platforms?
It's a very unique way of discovering new medicines. What we have with our technology is a way of labeling all of our test molecules. So we can actually add a piece of DNA to each of our test molecules. And the DNA functions as a barcode, you could call it. It's like walking around in the supermarket. You take something down from the shelves, go to a barcode reader, then you get information about what you have in your hand, what the brand is, what the price is. Similar in our system, when we sequence a DNA, we get information about the structure of the small molecule that is attached to this piece of DNA. Because we have this ability to tag, to encode all of our molecules, we can work with mixtures of compounds and fish out, like finding the needle in a haystack, we can fish out the most active compounds out of a very complex mixture. So overall, this allows us to do screening very differently to the way that it is conducted in the pharmaceutical industry in general. It allows us to work with many more molecules. So instead of, if you're an AstraZeneca, you are Merck, Novartis, one of the big pharma companies, you typically test 1 to 2 million compounds on the discovery towards a new medicine. In our case, we can work with billions of molecules instead, so 1,000 times as many molecules as you can do with conventional techniques. And it all comes from this small piece of DNA that is attached to the test molecule that allows us to do this screening very effectively.
Nuevolution is executing a multiple shots at goal approach. What is it, and what are the advantages?
Because we have this platform where we can work with billions of molecules and we can screen them very effectively, we are actually able to work with many more projects than you can normally do in a biotech company, or for that sake in a pharma company. So what we do is we have typically 15 programs running all the time, some that are in the screening phase, some in optimization phase, and some in very late stage candidate nomination phase. So we have many programs running in parallel. That's the multiple shots at goal. Some of these programs will fail because this is science, and some of it will fail. But because we have many programs, we have the hopes, and hopefully somewhat bigger hopes than normally, that more programs will make it to the finishing line where you can do business.
Can you describe the business model of your own development programs?
Yeah, essentially, we are pursuing 2 types of deal structures. The first one is the more conventional one. You mature your program up to a stage where a partner might be interested in licensing your program. So that's one model, and in contrast to what you have normally in biotech companies, where you develop up to end of phase 2 and wait 6, 7, 8 years for doing that, we will out-license our programs in the preclinical phase. So that means from 2.5, 3 to 4 years after start. So that's the one business type of deal structure that we are pursuing. The other one is, we call it a risk sharing or pre-sale. And this is a model where we are teaming up with partners already from day one. They have a say at which programs should we work on. And then we will focus on these programs, mature them up to a stage where the partner is then obligated to take over the program at pre-specified deal terms. So it's like a pre-sale. And we have this second type of deal structure because this is a way of mitigating risk. Normally, when you have biotech companies, you have a science risk, everyone knows that. Business risk is not something many talk about. Are there any client, any partner for my program? By doing this pre-sale risk-sharing model, we know that we have the partner from day one.
You are developing your own pipeline of drug candidates for treatment of cancer and chronic inflammatory diseases. What are the main reasons?
Well, there's a significant unmet need in many different therapeutic areas, but the reason for us to choose cancer and severe inflammatory diseases as our areas of focus is a multifold one. First of all, the animal models are more predictive, meaning that if you have efficacy in animal models, then they are predictive for what you can hope to see in humans. So that's one reason. The other reason is that you see a lot of deal making happening already in the preclinical phase. So before you start the expensive clinical studies, you actually see deal making happening between the big pharma companies and the biotech company. And that allows us to out-license the programs earlier, so from 2 to 3 to 4 years, instead of progressing programs as you would do conventionally all the way through to phase 2b proof of concept and wait 8 years before you do deals. So we're choosing cancer and inflammation for both business reasons and because there are good animal models.
What is the status of your current pipeline of programs?
We have our first program for treatment of inflammatory diseases, where we are focusing on psoriasis as one of the main indications, but also there's an opportunity for other indications. That's at the candidate stage, and we expect to have first dosing in man in 2017, so that's next year. Then we have some front-runner programs that comes just after that, and they are at the lead to candidate optimization stage, and the hope is there that these will be at the same stage as the most mature program, late in 2017 and in 2018. And then we have some early programs, and in total we have 15 programs running.
How does your financial position look like? Do you need additional capital in the near future?
I think we are very well funded. As of third quarter of the fiscal year 15-16, we had 211 million Swedish kronor in our bank account. And on top of that, we expect revenue income during the second calendar quarter of this year. And the amount should suffice to fund the current strategy of developing the 5 to 6 business opportunities that I explained earlier. And we also expect to place 3 or 4 of these with partners that will generate additional revenue. So overall, we believe that we are very well funded for actually executing the business strategy.